Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to talk about 4 different topics. We do have some huge news today. Well, actually it's not news, they're like rumors. So we are first going to talk about Neymar and Martinez. So according to ESPN, Barcelona are finalizing their plans for the summer when they will invest heavily in the squad with Neymar and Lautaro Martinez among their top targets before turning their attention to renewing some of the team's key players. And then according to Cuatro, they said the board will be assessing the possibility of exchanging players to bring Neymar to Barcelona. Griezmann and Dembele could be part of the deal. If PSG are eliminated from the UCL next Wednesday, Barcelona could launch their first offensive. So this is huge news, especially since this is coming from ESPN. So it is official. Barcelona do want to bring Neymar back in the summer of 2020. We are going to see another Neymar saga for the next 5 to 6 months. But note this, I am a little bit skeptical about who they are reporting on who to exchange. Like, I don't fully believe that it's going to be Griezmann and Dembele being involved in this operation. It could, but it's not 100% true because I always go based off history. Like, if we look back in 2019, we saw how Coutinho, Dembele, Rakitic were part of the operation to trade in order to bring back Neymar, and that never turned out to be true. So I'm always going to be a little bit skeptical. I'm not always going to fully believe these rumors, but we do know that Barcelona do want to bring in Neymar Jr. The question is, what players do Barcelona want to give in? So just like how Inter Milan has the leverage over Barcelona for Martinez, PSG also has leverage over Barcelona for Neymar Jr. We know that Barcelona need Neymar more than PSG needs one of our players. Now the question is again, who are the most likely to leave in order for Neymar to come in? And we have to remember that this does not have to be a trade-in. Again, it could, but it doesn't have to be. Like, for example, we can sell Coutinho for 80 million euros to Manchester United and then sell Rakitic for 30 million euros to Atletico Madrid and then pay the difference of 60 million euros. We can end up going through it like that. But if Neymar is being prioritized as much as Martinez is being prioritized, there has to be a trade-in because I don't see Martinez and Neymar coming in at the same time with Barcelona paying their release clauses in the same time. Like, it's just way too much money. There has to be at least one trade-in between Barcelona and PSG or Barcelona and Inter Milan. And as we all know, PSG do want to get the best out of Barcelona, just like how Inter Milan wants to get the best out of Barcelona. Because if we look here, according to Tutos Sport, Inter Milan have sent Barcelona a counter offer for Lautaro Martinez. The Italian side want to include Arthur Melo, Todibo, and Alenia in the operation. So reading this, right, I'm going to have to say no. I don't think Barcelona is going to let go of those 3 players because these players that Inter Milan is calling, they are one of our top talents. And I don't see Barcelona selling 3 of our top talents in one summer. What this is telling me is that Inter Milan do have a project in place. Like, they do want to build a team, and that is why they do want to bring in these players. So for Inter Milan, it's either going to be give me a group of youngsters or give me one of your star players, because Inter Milan is not going to let go of Martinez easily. Again, they do have a project in place. They do want to be competitive in the Italian league, so Barcelona has to be aware of that. So I'm going to make an assumption here. I think Barcelona can only afford to sell a star player. They cannot afford to sell 3 young top stars. Here is what I think is going to happen in the summer of 2020. Neymar and Martinez will come in the summer. Martinez is going to be brought in first because he is cheaper. He is easier to get compared to bringing in Neymar. What I think Barcelona is going to do is bring back Coutinho from Bayern Munich, sell him to Inter Milan, and then pay the difference, which is going to be about 30 to 35 million euros. And as for Neymar, again, greater sacrifices have to be made in order to bring Neymar Jr. in, especially if you want to bring in Neymar and Martinez. What I think Barcelona is going to do to bring in Neymar is sell Griezmann, and I don't know if he's going to to go to PSG or to another club, but sell Griezmann, sell Rakitic, and then pay the difference. And this is the power that Barcelona has, is that they have a lot of power and stars in their hand. So it's easy to negotiate with these teams, but what gets very tricky is that who are the players you are going to let go? You have to let go of the right players, because if you let go of the wrong players, you're going to put yourself in a situation like in the one that we are currently in. So if you sell Arthur and then if you sell Todibo, then our midfield becomes very thin. Not just that, but it also becomes very old, and we need to keep those young players. So it's not about should we sell these players, it's more about who are the right players to sell. So we have to get that right. So does this give us a bad image, like bringing in Griezmann and then selling him in the summer and then bringing in Coutinho and then loaning him one season later? Of course it does. But again, it is time to move on, accept your mistakes, and continue to move forward. And Bartomeu, if there is one thing you can do right before you do leave in 2021, is to bring in Neymar and Martinez before you leave this club next year. If there is one thing you can do right, that is to bring Neymar and Martinez this summer. Now moving on to Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. According to Helena Condis, this reporter said Ter Stegen won't leave Barcelona. His representatives have spoken with Juventus, Bayern, and PSG, but the German will not go to any of the three clubs. The goalkeeper is happy in Barcelona and has a contract until 2022. Barcelona will offer Marc-Andre Ter Stegen an improved contract before the end of the year to reflect his growing importance at the club. Bartomeu, whose mandate runs until 2021, wants to ensure that both Lionel Messi and Ter Stegen have signed new deals by the time he leaves his role. The Germany international is happy at the club, but Barcelona will have to show him how much they value him to ensure that he remains in the club. If there is one player Barcelona will need by next season besides Messi, that is Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is committed to the club. He did have a recent interview, and this is what he said: "They remain me 2 years of agreement. I and my family are very well here. This is our home. The intention is to follow the philosophy and the idea to do this together." So look, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen deserves respect, right? And I don't know what are the full details for this contract. I don't know what they're going to offer him, like an extension, or are they going to pay him more? I don't know about that, but what I do know is that we need to keep hold of Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. His importance in the club is growing every day, every year, every month. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the game against Napoli, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen screamed at Semedo for not paying attention on that corner kick, and that is what he does. He's very commanding. He tells his defenders what to do. He tells them to wake up. He knows how to act on big occasions, and he is a good leader. He knows how to step up, and he has all the qualities in order to become the captain of FC Barcelona. And I know that's a big statement because we know that our current captain right now is Lionel Messi, but Marc-Andre Ter Stegen has really demonstrated that he is up for that challenge and he is up for that role. And I would not hesitate on giving Marc-Andre Ter Stegen the second choice on becoming the captain for FC Barcelona next season. Messi is the captain for what he has done for the club, and Marc-Andre Ter Stegen will be the captain for what he will do with the club. Now I want to talk about Eder Sarabia. According to these reports, Barcelona don't find Eder Sarabia behavior at the Bernabeu inappropriate. However, the club will ask him to be a little bit more discreet in conversations with other assistants on the bench, knowing that everything is being recorded these days. Now, I agree with the way he coaches during these games, especially in El Clásico. Like, you have to be intense, you have to show up. That intensity has to be there. Now, the only thing that I would tell Barcelona to do is to approach him correctly and to communicate with him well on what they want from him. Because just imagine you're in Sarabia's shoes, right? You're telling players what to do, you're on top of them, you're commanding a lot from these players, and then you have Barcelona, the club, whoever speaks to these coaches, the staff, they go up to you and be like, hey, can you chill out a little bit? Can you not scream so much at the players? Because not only that makes us look bad, because the media are going to twist these words and they're gonna start making stories about ourselves. So to Sarabia, he could feel some type of way, and when you are telling some other person on what to do, how to act, and at the end of the day they are doing their job, they are going to feel a certain way, and you might want to leave the club, you might want to leave the job. So we don't know how he might feel. What matters the most is how Barcelona approaches him. And And that last sentence where they say, knowing that everything is being recorded these days, do not let the media get in the way with how you truly want to coach a team. What matters the most is what's going on between the club, the staff, and the players. If the relationship is good, if the communication is good, the media shouldn't even matter. And if Sarabia does leave because of the way Barcelona approaches this assistant coach, the club will give that image of where, like, you know, they don't want those type of coaches that are very intense, the ones who scream a lot, and that's going to look like a bad thing, right? Because we have been wanting a coach who gets on top of our players. And not only that, you're also telling us that the players have more power than the staff. So be very careful on how you approach Sarabia. I don't want him to feel a certain way and then potentially leave the club. I think what he is doing is very good for the players, and if anything, if the players do not like it, if the players do not want that type of training, then they can leave the club. Now I want to quickly talk about Ansu Fati. We haven't talked about this player for a very long time, and that is for one reason. That is because we have not seen him participate as much as he used to, like in the first half of the season. So according to these stats, they have stated that only 97 minutes played in the last 5 matches under Setien, a changing role for Fati, as we can see here in the cover. And if we do the math on this, 97 minutes in 5 matches is 20 minutes per game. And I could see why this could be seen as a bad thing, because in the first half of the season, Ansu Fati was playing like in every other game, and he had a bigger role. Not just that, but he was also scoring goals, assisting. He scored a goal in the UCL. But we are in the second half of the season where matches do get tougher, where everything is more decisive. But he is 17 years old. He did do his part for this season. If he doesn't play as much as he used to, that's okay with me. He has scored in the UCL. He has scored in La Liga. He's still playing 20 minutes in each game, and doing that as a 17-year-old, I don't see that as a problem. One of the questions I have been getting recently is, how is Barcelona going to manage Ansu Fati once Martinez and Neymar comes in? So let's say that does happen. Let's say Martinez and Neymar come in. How is Ansu Fati going to be managed? Does that take away his playing time? What's going to be his role? And could this scare off Ansu Fati? Could he be thinking, hey, if they do come in, that's going to take away like a lot of my minutes? And I don't think that's going to be bad for Ansu Fati. I don't think Ansu Fati sees this as a bad thing. I think Ansu Fati sees this as a great opportunity. If Neymar does come in, Neymar can be that figure for Ansu Fati, where Ansu Fati can be like, this is the player I want to be like. He plays my position. He's 28 years old. He can teach me with the remainder 4 to 5 seasons that he has with Barcelona. So I would suggest Ansu Fati to stay, and I think that Ansu Fati will stay, and he will learn under Neymar Jr. So Ansu Fati can establish himself as one of the greatest wingers in world football in 3 to 4 years. So that's it for today's Barcelona daily news. It is huge news. It is crazy to think that Barcelona do want to pull off Martinez and Neymar in one transfer window. We will have to keep following this for the next 5 to 6 months. We will have to see how all of this unfolds, and I'm going to continue following this and posting videos about this whole transfer saga in this channel. So I will be covering it. It will be here, and we will be discussing on how this could change Barcelona for the better. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I want to thank you guys for showing all the love and support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.